obviously throughout this week it's been a giant soap opera, not helped by Harry losing that court case and all the other things. We haven't seen Meghan at all. We probably might have, if the court case has gone well, expected to see her yesterday at Birmingham at the Invicta Games launch, which actually saw Harry doing what he does best.
Grandfather meets grandchildren, normally pretty routine. Not when it involves the King and the children of Harry and Meghan. It was Archie and Lilibet's first meeting with Charles for 4 years. It took place during what's been quite a fraught visit to the UK for Harry. The royal correspondent Rupert Bell joins us now. Rupert, good morning.
Good morning, Rosie.
What do we know of the meeting?
Well, all we know is that because we're not supposed to hear any details of it, it is strictly private. It happened yesterday afternoon. The King had an engagement in Oxford, and so, which is not that far from Highgrove, so he goes there. Obviously, we saw Harry in Birmingham in the morning, so he obviously travelled down to Highgrove in the afternoon. Any more details, hopefully, we don't hear. Because I think that's the point of it. They want it to be strictly private to try and repair some of the damage, because in previous times everything has been leaked to the press within almost a nanosecond of it being finished. So I think that's the terms of this get-together, which has at the heart of it, and you alluded to it, it's just a grandfather meeting his grandchildren, and that's what we've got to remember at the human level. But obviously throughout this week it's been a giant soap opera, not helped by Harry losing that court case and all the other things. We haven't seen Meghan at all. We probably might have, if the court case has gone well, expected to see her yesterday at Birmingham at the Invicta Games launch, which actually saw Harry doing what he does best.
And giving interviews as well yesterday, we saw. So it's been a really, mixed week for Harry. Do we even know this meeting? Do we know how long it was? Did they spend sort of the whole day together? Was it just a couple of hours?
Well, I think it sounds like it was afternoon tea. And hopefully the children had a chance to run round those rather nice gardens they've got there, and just able, and bearing in mind Highgrove is where Harry was brought up as well, so it has family connections for him as well. So I suppose of all the places they should go to, then Highgrove does seem a logical one. But the important aspect of it is the royal household and the King have obviously said this has to remain private, and that I think it's going to be a litmus test for the Sussexes down the line should anything come out from this visit. But let's be honest, from a family point of view, it's a good thing. But obviously, as we've already been indicating, there's been a lot going on in the 4 years since they've last met the children properly. So I think it's going to be an interesting moving forward. But for Harry, this has been a salutary week. It just hasn't gone as well as he would like.
Yeah, that's the court case he had against the publishers of the Daily Mail newspaper, which he lost. We're hearing the bill that could be paid for that, about £50 million for the claimants. Do we know how that's going to be paid?
Well, that's, I think, the $50 million question. Look, some of the people who are in that court case are very wealthy men. I don't know what the King's view of it is, but I haven't heard any indication that he's going to help pay for the legal fees. I think that would be a step too far. There he is, and bearing in mind Harry subsequently accused the judge of producing a whitewash verdict. So all in all, I think that it is food for thought for the claimants and for Harry as to where that money's coming from. So we're not sure at the moment.
Rupert, thank you. Rupert Bell, the royal correspondent on that news. Prince Harry and 6 other prominent figures are facing this legal bill of up to £50 million after losing their case against the publisher of the Daily Mail over claims it used unlawful methods to source stories. Well, they were not successful in that legal action.
Do we think the meeting will stay private forever? I'm just not sure it will.
The most positive sign would be we never hear any more of it again.
Yes, that's it. Done and dusted.
But that also requires on members of the palace and their team and staff not selling stories elsewhere rather than actually members of the family themselves.
Well, at least they all met up, got together.
Which I think actually is a significant step forward. And we've talked about sort of family estrangement on this programme before, how absolutely isolating and devastating it can be, where suddenly you're not having proper communications or relations with one of your children or one of your siblings. And we've seen that played out in just such spectacular fashion over the last few years. So a step forward towards peace, it looks like.
Indeed.
Now, Buckingham Palace has confirmed that Prince Harry, alongside Meghan and their 2 children, met the King and Queen earlier today. It's only the second time the Duke of Sussex has seen his father in 2 years. It's also the first time in over 4 years the King has seen his grandchildren, Arthur and Lilibet. Archie, yeah. Let's discuss with royal correspondent Rupert Bell. Rupert, hello.
I think you were thinking of the new King of Centre Court, Arthur.
Yes, it's exactly. That's right. Very good. Yes, the entente amicale, as the King might put it. Well, Rupert, I mean, the signs were not good for this trip, the omens, because Prince Harry wasn't allowed to, or failed the deadline for agreeing to staying in Buckingham Palace. He lost his High Court case, and there's been uncertainty about the trip for Meghan and the children. So how surprised are you that this meeting, at least, has happened?
Well, I suppose most of us, yes, to some extent we are. But actually, you look at it, if you just take the royal stuff aside, let's just try and look at a family trying to repair problems and all the other stuff. It's just basically a grandfather wanting to see his grandchildren. And that's where it comes down to the human aspect of it. But of course, there has been this endless soap opera surrounding this visit. Even last week, were they staying in Buckingham Palace? Were they not? Then you had Harry's court case, which obviously set him back, where he accused the High Court judge of a whitewash, and bearing in mind it's the King's Court. So the whole thing has been done under a sort of really dark cloud. And actually, though, so Meghan and the children have come in under the radar, as it were, and maybe some of us are slightly blindsided by that. But more importantly, you saw Harry today at the launch of his Invictus Games, and that was the Harry of old. He's much better when he's just flying solo. And let's be honest, he looked as if he was having a great time, maybe knowing that deep down all the other stuff that was likely to come out. But what seems to be significant about this, it's been stressed that this is a private visit. So there will be no photos, no sort of Instagram, no reporting of what's going on. And that tells me that the royal household and the King have said, right, if you're coming, this is on our terms. And that seems to me the message that's coming out. Now, will that be the case 2 or 3 months down the line? I don't know. But for Meghan, this is a win-win, because obviously she can now re-establish her royal credentials, but without the photo op. But I think literally from a family point of view, it's a good thing. And some people will say, why are the royal family doing it? But actually, it's a father wanting to see his son and see his grandchildren. I think that's what it's come down to.
Yeah, that's the essential, isn't it, Rupert? The human connection. And talking of human, then what hope of an encounter, if not on this trip, but perhaps a future trip between the prince and his estranged brother and the sisters-in-law? And let's not forget the young cousins, all 5 of them, who are growing up without knowing each other. Well,
they are at Highgrove, and if I'm not mistaken, Princess Anne lives not too far from there. Zara doesn't live too far from there. It's a bit of an enclave of royals within about 10 miles of each other. So maybe there might be some weekend get-together. I don't know, but, slightly late-night conversation. If they're staying at Highgrove over a bottle of rosé in this heat, those family discussions, I don't know whether suddenly the gloves come off, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
But, I mean, if you're putting it into context, this has to be seen as a good thing from a human level. But Harry and Meghan now have to repay that trust by shutting up.
Yeah.
And that's going to be their hard thing, because even in the build-up to this trip, their PR machine was the one who was letting everyone know that 1 minute they're staying at Buckingham Palace, then it's their PR machine saying, well, hang on a minute, now we're not. So there's a lot of funny stuff that's been going on behind the scenes.
And is it this funny stuff, Rupert, just briefly, that's at the heart of the ongoing tension between Harry and William? William simply won't trust him. Is that really what this is about?
Yes, he won't trust him because he said Harry and Meghan have said some pretty hurtful things about his wife. William was doing a charity polo event today, which was long in the diary. So don't say he was suddenly excused. This would have been planned a long time, And of course, Harry has been about polo, but obviously, again, it's all part of this PR game that sometimes we just head scratch and go, what the heck's going on next? And that's been very much part of the agenda. But I hope that from a family point of view, it's everything they want. And now, Meghan, you've got your link with your father-in-law. Maybe now it's time to link up with your father, who's been languishing in hospital and everything. So there's a lot going on at play here.
There is.
It shouldn't be just trying to re-establish her royal credentials.
Yeah.
Maybe she should look at the big picture.
Perhaps with time that may happen. Rupert, thank you very much indeed for your time. That's royal correspondent Rupert Bell.